as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, it says recording to confirm. Perfect.
Okay. I know that Kira said she was going to join too. I don't see her yet.
And Juliana too, right?
Pardon me?
Juliana said she would too.
Yep, Ileana.
Yeah.
I'm about to get blinded by the sun in a second here.
Oh, I'd rather be blinded by the sun than poking myself with the mascara again. Oh.
All right. Do we have Juliana here yet? No? No Juliana yet. Juliana, Kira, we got Shirley, yeah. I know that there was a couple more.
Hey, Mariah, did you cut your hair?
Did I cut it? No,
Yeah.
This is like quarantine hair. I haven't had this much hair in, I think, 15 years.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah, so there are people I literally have not seen in at least a year that have never seen me with this much hair. So. How is everyone?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I think spring is setting in where I live.
Nice.
It's usually still snowing in May.
Where are you at, Mariah?
I'm in Syracuse.
Syracuse, New York.
Yeah, right in the middle of New York State.
Yeah, upstate New York. That's where I used to live. That's right. All right. So yeah, I think we've still got probably almost a handful of ladies that are not here yet, but I mean, we can start, and I'll just keep watch, and anybody else that shows up, I'll just let them in, and they can join.
Okay, that works.
I'll message them.
Make that full screen.
So pardon me for a moment, ladies, if I'm not looking up. I just want to message everybody else while we're starting.
It's all good. And then before we start, I'll have everyone look up at the screen, and I'll take a screenshot from my computer so that we have who's showing up on my screen for the main picture for the YouTube thing.
The big candid picture.
Is that what they call it? I don't know. It just tells me upload file.
Something like that. Candid shot.
So, is everyone ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. I got it.
Look like I'm striking a pose over here.
A model.
All right, where's these ladies at?
So I wasn't here for the last one, but what kind of format do you do for the talk?
We pretty much just chatted, and then if ever, someone had a question, we asked that question, everyone listened, and so it's not really formal. It's just normal conversations, really, and then I'm just recording it so that way we can refer or reference it on YouTube, and other people can learn as well. I mean, might as well not let these go to waste.
Yeah.
And then plus I've had so many people asking me to do like podcast shows where I interview traders and stuff, and I don't have time for that, so this is my little cheat sheet. Or cheat code, as Mariana started.
I didn't even start it.
I know.
It was just like a
haters.
Like an unexpected comment, and then it went viral.
Yo,
That's funny.
Now. I know, because it's like everywhere now. It's all the cheat codes that we all wish we had.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's what I'll put as the title. The cheat codes exposed. I know. I thought it was genius and creative, so I've been running with it.
And then everybody that responded to it, it was also just such great comments.
I loved them.
It's like a trading community. So there's like no hate, and then when there's like a little hate, everybody's like, no, no way.
Yep, everyone's attacks.
Yeah.
That could be the title of this series: Cheat Codes Exposed.
Yeah. Maybe
Just
every
start
time.
going in part 1, part 2, part whatever it turns into.
Shoot, I need to learn French for the rest of the numbers. I forgot them all.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Hi.
Thank you. I'm so happy to see you. I'm really excited. I'm a little out of the topic because I thought nobody was in the meeting. So everybody was waiting, and then I jump and I see everybody's here talking. But I'm really happy to be here, Mariana. Hi, I'm happy to see you.
I love your accent. We're both from Colombia.
Yes.
I'm from Colombia too.
You are?
Yes.
What? Oh my gosh, it's like
Yes.
I went to like the biggest school.
Yes.
I went
That's
to like
awesome,
the
ladies.
biggest school, and seriously, I was the only Colombian, and now it's like a group of like 8 people, and there's like 3 Colombians. That's funny.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, who else do we have here?
So yes.
All right. Oh, we got. Oh yeah, Karen's here. Okay. I think Emily. No, Emily's here. Where is she? Oh, right there. Okay. Sorry, Emily.
That's all right.
I'm just like scrolling through the list trying to see who I'm missing
I
here.
think Kira's trying to get in. She just posted something.
There she is. Oh, okay. I got her. Okay. All right. So what do we want tonight's topic to be on? I guess like my brain's been so scrambled, I haven't entirely had a chance to like set a specific title, kind of how we had last time.
Well, how about how we're adapting to the market shift? Because I've only placed 1 trade this month, and I heard Mariana talk on, I think it was the Steady Trade podcast, or maybe it was just with Kim, where she's hasn't been taking nearly as many trades. So just how we're dumbing it down.
Okay. Yeah. I'm cool with that topic if everybody else is.
Yeah, I'm super new, so I've been like waiting for just like 2 months. So.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that, especially in the beginning. I mean, we're just studying, learning, watching. Since I've been talking with Mariana and we've been doing this, and she talked about finding the first green day on the back side of the supernovas. I've been watching that pattern, and was it INND or is it INVU? I don't even remember.
It was INVU today.
Yeah, that's when I was watching that have its first morning green day, and that was on my watch list, and so I've been getting better at spotting those things to talking with her.
Yeah, those have been working well since like the last few weeks of last month, and then this month too, since they're just all down at their lows because, you know, there's not been a lot of volume in the last like few weeks because we're heading into like the market shifted where like it's just a lot slower than it was in February, January, where it was just super hot. So now it's like finding ones that people have maybe forgotten about, taking off radar, and now looking for that reversal pattern that it's also in the Tim Sykes framework, and it wasn't seen a lot in February because things were just being bought up so much that they literally had no chance going down. Like there was just no chance because somebody would obviously be buying it. But now it's like a whole different market. They're all at their lows, and now it's just looking for those reversals that they're the popular stocks that were talked about before, and those are the ones that you want to like look back on and keep on radar so that you see if they're breaking out, if they're down a lot and you want to look for that reversal first green day. Those have been working well for me in the past 2 weeks.
Are you still? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, when you say reversal, what you refer to? Like
Sorry?
what number? Like when you say the reversal of the first green day.
So those are stocks that are former runners that ran in the past. So let's say in February they went up 600, 2,000%, and now they stopped on that kind of like first initial run, and now they're on the backside. They're on their lows. They keep going down and down and down, and now you're just waiting for it to form and kind of have like that bounce, because things just can't go all the way down. So you're looking for like that bounce. When you see the daily, it's just been going down for days or even weeks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hi
You usually-
guys. I'm sorry, Alexandra over here. I have a little construction, so that's why I'm really quiet and no camera. But I wanted to ask about these first green days. So I've been able to spot them, but is there any specific setup for a scanner in the morning, or do you set up the, alarms on a specific level to spot them, or you spot them when they're already up intraday?
So for me, I have traded all of these stocks for the past month. So I will always keep them on watch. If I know they had volume, they had news, they had a good reaction, those are the ones I want to keep watching for potential moves later on. So I'm never taking them off my watch list. So RGBP is one that we're watching because that is up a lot, and that is one that I will keep on radar if it keeps presenting opportunities for the next week, 2 weeks, month. And that's when I will see when it's downtrending. I will still have it on watch, and while I'm doing my watch list every day, I'm just going through all of the tickers.
Do you usually find that those bounce better, like you're looking for news to go along with it, or sometimes they just bounce without any type of news to go along with it?
I think news will be great. It'll be great, but sometimes they'll just present a really good pattern throughout the day that with no news needed, they're just down so much.
Yeah, I've found several of those first green day patterns, but they always seem choppy on the day that they're bouncing.
Yeah,
how do you find good entries, I guess, because it always seems like the risk reward isn't
there. It's like one that I traded, ENCC. On one of the first green days, it gave a dip in the morning, and I like to kind of get a feel for it in that dip and then try to look for a red to green move. So I will have a really good risk because it's down 3 to 4 days. Odds are maybe it'll bounce a little bit bigger than just give you a single, and I will risk the low. Always risk like the low, so it'll be very easy risk reward.
And on that dip, are you looking for a smaller dip than a panic to give you the idea that it will probably bounce?
Wait, sorry, I don't think.
Did we?
Is my video working?
Your video is not, but your picture is up and we can hear you.
That's weird. So let me just see what happens here. So sorry. Okay, I'll just keep answering like that, I guess. Maybe it just fixes itself then. And then I will try and just find the risk that just makes sense with the chart, like a dip or maybe a channel, and then base it off of that. And if there's not any volume coming in, then I just most likely won't be trading it. Like FTXC today, it was shown that it should bounce, and it had news. It looks perfect, but then if you saw it, it just didn't give you proper risk, and it didn't really form itself. So you want to see it form itself before you want to trade it, and know that your risk should be based off of some place in the chart, like lows or a channel.
So are you entering the first green days on the backside multiple times, like getting in and out of it?
I kind of tend to find that first green day is one day. So most of the time I'm in the morning, because most of the time that's where it's the most volatile, and then maybe just keep fizzling off throughout the day. But mostly I am trading it in the morning, like AITX. If you guys can look back on the recent first green day it was just a morning trade. And then keep it on watch because maybe it'll break out because it's still at the lows, but maybe it provides another opportunity as a breakout like INND did. It broke out and it just kept bouncing for a bigger move, but I'm not in it for a long time usually.
That makes sense because in one of those episodes that I watched, like I said, I think it was the steady trade one, you said that you'd only taken 40 trades. Now, to me, 40 trades is a bunch, so I'm over here when I'm watching the stock thinking of all the different kinds of potential entries, and I'm like, man, how does she do that and keep that amazing win percentage?
I think most of the trades that I take are mostly ones that I'm trying out, and if they don't work, I just get out right away. So there's a lot of scratch trades that I just don't get profit or loss. I'm just going to try it because it just looks good to me. So that's why I guess it could be a lot. But if I was just taking A plus trades, it would be a lot less because A plus trades, like we've seen this past week or so, there's been none. So I would literally be taking 0.
Okay, now that makes more sense because with I know a lot of smaller accounts, traders or the successful traders talk about taking less trades in the beginning and just focusing more so on those A plus setups. So that makes a lot of sense. Also, you're usually holding the first green days overnight. Are you still doing that even though they've been gapping down on an average 7 to 10%?
So that's a different story. I was stuck in EENFF. I don't know if you guys saw it. I know, it was awful. What a terrible experience. It literally never happens, and of course, I'm long and it just gaps down 80%. That was insane. So after that, obviously, I haven't been swinging overnight. It's not like they've been working really that well because there's just not a lot that's been going on. There's not even that many tickers to be going on, but AITX, I guess, it gapped up a little, but then it panicked right away. So it's just, right now, it's just still trying to decide. The market's still trying to decide, what it wants to do, and I'm just not been swinging, just kind of taking my singles throughout the day as best I could. I can.
That makes sense. I've been wondering about that. I didn't know you were in that stock, and I'm sorry you were.
That's okay.
I haven't lost 80%, but I've been afraid of it ever since ARCS, I think the stock was, got the skull and crossbones a few months ago, and I was looking to hold that overnight, and fortunately I didn't because that was, I think, a 90% gap down. But I did get caught in, I think it was ICBU the other month when it had a 17% gap down, but fortunately I got out for a 13% loss. Those are tough.
I get.
Is that now your biggest loss?
No, that's not my biggest loss because, obviously, if it's overnight, then I'm using less size. But that's just, the risk that you take. You need to understand, for you guys that are starting to learn to day trade penny stocks, that's just the risk that you take. Sometimes these penny stocks are crap. There's some that don't even, they don't even have, a place where they work. So you need to understand that this is not a place where you want to invest your money because most often than not, something bad will happen. Something that you aren't expecting will happen. So you need to realize what you're doing, what you're trading, because this isn't a real blue chip company. These are pretty bad. So ENFF, that was terrible, but it's also just the risk that you take as a trader that you have to understand that sometimes it'll happen and it's okay. Just keep that lesson for next time.
Yeah, and that can also be a wake-up call for the environment we're trading in right now. Like you were saying, that the overnights just aren't working that well right now versus, was it January, February, where they weren't going down. What I was used to for, we'd have that big red day, and then that would just fade off and be the end of those stocks back in 2019. Now, and then in January, February, that was just the consolidation, the pullback for the breakout, like you were saying earlier. And so now we're witnessing the backsides of these stocks. I mean, and when Tim talks about former runners going supernova and looking for these supernova charts 3, 4, 5 years ago, what we just experienced were those charts 5 years ago, basically.
Yeah, and we had one almost every day. Not even just one, like 5. That was a great gift.
It
and
was.
now we get
Multiples.
to, yeah, and it was awesome being there, and we'll definitely be prepared for the next one too. But
Yeah.
shifting isn't easy. I wasn't there for a lot of the market shifts, and for me, first I has not been easy because I wasn't like just used to like maybe one day it's just the hottest ever, and then the next day it's just like nothing at all. So I guess it's just also knowing what we do. That's trading, and trading goes through cycles. It goes through different stages, and you have to recognize some days you'll make more than others, but it just matters on if you're prepared, if you studied, and be able to nail when your setup is there.
Exactly, and shoot, it just makes me think we haven't had this hot of a market since I started studying, and then we got that coronavirus and just surge in the market, and so all these traders are super excited. Now it's almost like they've been burnt out, and I haven't even heard of Robinhooders trading right now, even after the stimulus checks. It's like it was priced in, and now everyone's just kind of going off on vacation and resting and taking a break. And then when they get bored again, probably near holiday season, it seems like, then they'll probably come back again.
She's coming.
Yeah, you're right. I had several friends mention to me that same thing, that they're like, oh, we're just going to take a break now from trading and we'll come back later.
There you go.
Oh, they disappeared. That's why I was like, it went silent. Where'd everyone go? Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
trying to
Wall
get her
Street,
back in.
maybe Wall Street bets they had nothing to go on for now, and then until the next ticker, they're gonna go band together.
They took out all the billionaires.
That's sweatshirt.
Oh, I love it!
Right?
See, mine's not as cool.
Yeah, it's like neon, so it like matches the keyboard.
Oh my goodness.
Love it.
Can't wait to get a real setup. That's so awesome. Oh,
I just recently got mine.
Nice. How'd your move go? Did you safe moving and all that?
Yeah. I guess it was like at the right time where everything was a little bit slower, so it made it a lot easier than it would have been in February.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Because you always hear about all the traders when they're moving. They have like huge problems and catastrophes. I think Bryce, he lost internet or something like that.
I took a big loss while I was moving. I don't know if you guys saw it on my recap.
I did. Tim first mentioned it.
Yeah, it was on IMMP. If you guys want to look at my recap, I explained my thought process. I knew what I was doing, and no, I didn't know what I was doing. I explained what I was doing to not do it again, but that was a day before I moved, so everything was just emotionally, and everything was just different. There's just wasn't like anything in my house. It was the same thing, so I took a big loss, like most of the traders, you know.
Yep.
But it's like up to you to like learn it. I guess I had to learn the hard way.
The lessons we don't want to learn. But hey,
yeah, I'll have to catch that recap.
Hi.
I think it's a really stress when you're looking for a house and trying to move, and just all of that on top of trying to trade and make your watch list. It's just maybe just too much sometimes. And I find that too in my province up in Canada here, like our markets for housing, it's so hot and it's really difficult. So you're constantly like going to look at houses, and I could see how that could impact your trading.
Yeah, it's like your mind isn't 100% focused on what you're doing, and I think that when you're trading, it's already pretty emotional to trade. So adding on emotional stress outside of your house, it's like it can be a lot, and maybe you won't be 100% looking at what you're doing that day. I was trading in NASDAQ, which I don't really do, and I was just trying to predict what the stock was doing instead of kind of trading what the pattern was trying to tell me. So that's where it first went wrong. I was just trying to make a single, and then suddenly I started using too many shares. I started taking a loss, and then it just all snowballed in between all of those bad emotional mistakes that you make while you're trading.
That was actually a wonderful recap, and you still managed to make 90,000 on the month. I think I remember.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Like 2-3 weeks, like the first few weeks of March, they were pretty good. Not the same, but it was good. It was just the last 2 weeks that it was just a lot slower in OTC. So I tried and venture off into NASDAQ using too big a size. Not something you should do if you want to try a new pattern. Size down.
Yeah, and I think shoot, it's been a while since I studied the videos, but Jack actually would get mad because he would go and venture into NASDAQs and he'd be like, I hate this, I'm sticking with OTCs only, I don't care how slow it goes. That's what it made me think of.
And to this day, he's still doing the same thing. Even if it has the capital, he's still sticking to OTCs. And during this market, he's detaching. He's doing very good at focusing on himself, focusing on everything, because it was just 3 months of a lot of hard work that all catches up to you. You know, you have to take care of yourself too in your mind, because barely had time to think of anything before. Now it's time to focus on the family, the health, the everything that you just miss while you're just trading nonstop.
Yeah.
By the way, we missed Jack in the chat, and I'm sure everybody's wondering, like, how's he doing? How's he feeling, kind of thing.
He's doing really good. Now he's recovering from COVID, and yeah, I know he had COVID, mono, and strep throat all like in 3 months.
Everything.
Insane.
He's gonna have like the almighty immune system.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna penetrate Jack after this.
Nothing.
Is he still trading even while he has COVID?
Yeah, well, he'll take some trades here and there, but he's really just focusing on doing him and just detaching a lot. And obviously being in the challenge requires a lot of work and like a lot of him alerting things, and there's just not a lot of things to alert now, so there's no reason why you have to sit behind the screens all the time.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
so
good.
I need to do better at that.
Okay, so I know I keep asking all the questions. I'm sorry. That was one thing that really everyone seems to be focusing on since you became a millionaire, is the fact that your boyfriend's Jack. How are you handling it? Everyone saying, oh, you just made it because of Jack. Jack gave you these cheat codes. He tells you when to get in, when to get out. How are you handling that? Is it more like, hey, I'm a millionaire, it doesn't matter what you think, I'm doing me? Like, what are your thoughts?
In the beginning, it definitely frustrated me a lot more than it does now. I have matured a lot better to realize that, like, obviously he was there for me, but he's also realizing that he's also there for everybody else, and his content is also out there for everybody else to learn from. So it just matters. And I think there was a comment that said, you're the one taking the entry and you're the one taking the exit. So at the end of the day, what you learned from that person, because you have direct access to most of these traders, and just asking them questions and learning from them is really what's most important. Like, you could say whatever, and then if you don't apply it into your trading, then you won't have very good results. It just matters on what you apply, and that's kind of what I've learned from all of this, you know, because yeah, he's an amazing trader, and he also teaches a lot because he has his recaps, he has the challenge and everything, and it just matters on who's going to learn from everything that he's saying.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. Even like, you know, this goes like across the whole chat room, you know, like Tim will say, oh, like I just went into Invu. Like everybody has the choice whether to follow him in or make the decision to read the pattern. and think like, oh yeah, like I like this makes sense. And if they go in, they still have that choice to figure out when they're going to get out as well.
Yeah. I think what has helped me the most though is having somebody for emotional support, which I think has been like the best thing that I've gotten from Dak in my trading career. It's been having that emotional support to go to somebody, which I think you guys should all find somebody that is trading and also can understand what you guys are going through, because a lot of people out there don't understand what we do. A lot of people think it's gambling, and a lot of people think there's not a process behind it, but that's not the truth. The truth is you can go to somebody, ask them for trading advice or ask them what they think about the trade, and they maybe will have the same answer as you because there is a process behind it.
That's what I absolutely love about the challenge in the Twitter community, because you can post your trades. People always love to give their commentary. They like to share things with you, and you're exactly right. A lot of the outside that Twitter world and challenge community, there isn't much. I mean, people just think you're isolating yourself from everyone and being antisocial.
Yeah, I have heard from like so many people in my family where they're like, because I mean, like I've shared with a lot of you ladies that like I have business and I have like all of these other things that, you know, my hands are in the pot with, and like my family looks at me like I'm nuts. They're just like, well, that's just one more thing, and that's like good luck with that. Like you're never gonna get anywhere with that. Like I've heard that so many times. Or they just look at me like I'm absolutely insane because they don't understand a bit about the stock world or anything to do with trading. So I've definitely had to really kind of zero in on the chat community, and reaching out and connecting with all of you ladies has been just as much of a blessing for me at this end, because in my immediate world I really don't have very many people that understand anything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And this group is wonderful. Oh, sorry, what was that?
No, I was just gonna say that I feel the same way as you, because in my country, people don't even know what trading is. We don't even know what the market is, to be honest. Like when I told my mom I was gonna start trading, she was just like, "What does it mean trading? You know, like I don't know what that word means." And I was like, "Well, mom, I have to explain everything in Spanish." And then she was like, okay, that makes no sense. You know, in Spanish, it makes no sense. Why you want to trade those companies? And I was just like, okay, it's a little bit hard. So I started like showing to my mom, most of you ladies on Twitter, on YouTube, and I was like, look at them, look what they're doing, and it's possible, you know. And she was like, okay, you know, like she support me and everything, but I'm so far from her, and I have like no one to talk about. Even my girlfriends, I try to talk to them, and they're like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, good, okay, let's talk about something else, you know. So it's good to have this community, and I'm really happy to learn from each one of you. I'm just starting. I opened my account like 1 week ago, so I'm just starting. I've been paper trading for a few months, and just watching videos and watching Mariana's videos too. Jack's, my boyfriend, trades too, but he has different personality than me, so we both have like our separate rooms to trade and stuff. But yeah, it's so good to have this community, to be honest.
That's cool. So you guys don't trade together, like in the same room?
We have tried to, but the thing is that something that you talk in your video about today, and it's the fact that he sometimes say a comment, and maybe it's just a comment about the stock, and then I'm just in my mind like, so should I put? Should I do this? Should I do that? You know, I start like doubting myself. So today we have even an argument because I say to him like, "Don't talk to me. Like, don't say nothing to me, please." And he was like, "Hey, but I want you to learn." But I was like, "It's just like too much." I don't know if you can understand that. Like,
absolutely.
I can understand, like 100%, because 200%. I know I will pick. Because I know whatever Jack says, I'm literally just gonna go with it because I know he has more experience. So
exactly,
it's like my process just like goes out the window because I know he knows more. So
We say like let's talk to we always say let's talk through Discord. You know, let's not talk in person. Let's everything through Discord. So we're like, okay, we don't talk in person.
Discord. That's a good idea.
No, me and my boyfriend, he's actually in the challenge as well, and we tried really hard for most of last year. We were in a very close space, you know, desk here, and kind of like, you know, we could turn and look at each other and talk about things. And the way he looks at everything and the way I have learned to analyze and break everything down and what I pull into important factors that decide a trade for me, it got to the point where like everything I was like, okay, I'm in. And he would see me in something and he's looking at me going, I don't know about that one. No, yeah, I think that one's going to fail. And I'm going, no, it's not. Stop. Like, I'm fine. I know what I'm doing.
And it definitely influences your thinking a little bit differently to what you had planned. And then sometimes you had wanted to do something and then you're listening to your trading partner and you're like, okay, I'll just get out now. And then it goes to the moon.
Like today with RGBP, I got RGBP from like 4 cents. And then my boyfriend was like, no, that's gonna crack. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna crack. It's my first week trading. I'm gonna blow my account like right now. It's gonna crack. So I just got so nervous and I sold. And then it went all the way up. I was just like, what is this? You know, I was using in my mind saying like, I cannot let like someone's opinion interfere with maybe the plan I have for a stock. You know, because
so what are we trying to say here?
Well, I don't know about you ladies. I have a lot of girlfriends that say, you know what, we'll just see how you do and then you can teach us. And I, you know, it's not like there's anyone around me that I can share, you know, that thrill with. You know, I can't talk about it with as much excitement as I do, and for them to understand, because to them it's like, you know, I mean, it's where I was, right? A couple months ago, not even knowing how to read a stock chart, not even knowing what a candlestick was, and I feel very isolated where I am, because this is my community online. I've reached out to a couple people that don't live in my area, and they kind of understand, and they're super ambitious about what they're doing, so they can appreciate, you know, my drive for this, but not in the same way. Like, we have the same level of drive, but for different things. But there isn't anyone that I can actually strategize with. So that can be really frustrating. But, you know, I have to literally put my blinders on and just keep going, and not think about, oh, well, we'll see. There's a lot of what do you call them, balcony people, and sometimes you just gotta ignore all, because there's so much information coming in to process that you feel paralyzed. And if you cut out, you know, some of that noise, then sometimes I feel like I can just move faster and I can move smarter. But if I open up my ears and my eyes and my heart to everything else, it stalls me.
I can agree.
I really like what we're doing with the Discord chat. I think we can talk a lot more about what we're doing and about what we're seeing and what we're trading. I think that'll be good.
Agree.
Yeah.
So
because I'm in another group, but it's only like guys. I think Mariana is on it, and it's only guys, and sometimes, you know, like, I just feel like female energy is good for this type of things, because it's emotional. It's a lot of emotions going on, so sometimes you just think like maybe
Mariana, how did you do it? Because you were by yourself.
It's like how
everyone coming in together now is like, I feel like we're all so much more ahead than where you were, because you were by yourself.
Yeah, I think, like I shared on my study trade, like I got to the conference and I immediately left because there were no girls to talk to. So I guess it's just being behind your screen and choosing. For me, I was young, so I had all of these young traders' inspiration, and that's what kind of like kept showing me the example of. But now there's like so many more women traders that I've seen on Twitter, and I think that's great because having things that make you common to somebody who inspires you, I think just makes you push a little harder because you realize that everybody can do it. And just being in the same gender, we learn different. I think we do. And we can also teach a lot of different things because we are a lot based on emotion and how we know each other, because women know how their body works, how their mind works. It's like I shared a lot of the things that I learned, it was from knowing myself. And I think that's one of the things that we can also use is knowing ourselves to the point where we are conservative, we are disciplined, we follow a rule, we follow a plan. And I think that can just help us to execute every plan.
So when you were on Be the Trader, I just listened to that today. You were talking about women not wanting to take as much risk or being more conservative with risk. And I struggle with that so much. I'm like, well, I don't even want to risk anything. Like, I don't want to lose $10, you know, like, and I know as a trader, you can't do that if you're going to get somewhere. So how do you get past that? How do you get past that feeling of not wanting to risk, knowing how hard it is to make $10 or $20 at a regular job? You know, it takes you an hour and whatever. You know what I'm saying? How do you stop seeing that as
I think the answer to that would be gaining confidence in what you're doing, because you want to take small size. If you don't want to risk not even like $10, you can paper trade and build your confidence and build your process. And that's the only way you can really face your fears, because women are really conservative and we think about things a lot before we do something. We're like, I'm not going to go on this roller coaster ride because I'm wearing a dress. What if my lip bursts fall? What if, like, I don't know, my hair goes crazy? We will think about it. And maybe a guy will be a little bit more risky and say, let's do it, send it, whatever it is. So being conservative will only make you like not want to risk that much. But in order for you to get over that conservative and like fear mindset, you have to gain confidence. And I think that way is perfect is paper trading, just trying out what really works, and then you can risk $10 because you have more confidence in what you're doing.
If there's anybody there that is not supported at all by no one,
that is not what?
Like that is not supported. Like so I'm a mother of 3. And I am in Canada, but I am Italian, so in another country, but I live here for a while, so that is not even a thing. But you know, when you start trading, you have to spend money, right, for learning, for even having a good platform like Stock to Trade. And like I feel, you know, my husband is not on board with me. That's why I'm listening, because I'm totally new. Like I'm watching videos for a while, and I bought a few things from Tim, and I also signed up for the 3 month with Tim Bowen at the, you know, I just finished the 3 month. But like I feel that that's why I want to hear more story from all of you. I feel like I'm on my own. Totally, like in this little town, North Canada, where obviously I have nobody, like somebody was saying, Maria, I think, was saying like, you know, nobody to share this with. And it's just, you know, just.
Oh, no, you're not alone.
You got work. I am an educational assistant, and I work all day in school while actually the market is open. So I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what is anybody else's like yeah, you were saying, Maria, that is hard, right? But
yeah,
it is hard. I work like 80 hours a week, and it's crazy. Like since I started study, just I've been like sleeping like basically 5 hours, and I just trade in the last hour, like let's say from 2 to 4 that I'm in my house and I just can see the computer and everything. But it's really hard.
You come back home, you go right away on computer, and you see what's going on at that time.
Yeah,
but you made a plan in the morning. Like, when do you make your plan? Stuff like that.
Like me personally, so I wake up, I have to start like work like at 4 in the morning, so I have to wake up like 3 in the morning. So now I wake up like 2:30, like half an hour, like just I have like a break, like let's say like at 6 in the morning. So I just look like for half an hour the market, and just like, even if I'm not trading, I'm always looking to see, hey, I will do this, hey, I will get out like getting this trade, and I will get out at this, and maybe like what is my entry and what is my exit. That's been helping me a lot. And like just like I said, I've been like starting for 2 months, and if the challenge too, and the chat helped me a lot and everything. So I just like from 3 to 4, I just, for instance, I know what picks I did in the morning from the night before, or whatever is moving in the day, and seriously it's helping me. And I'm taking small positions, and like I will say like 12 trades, and for 12 trades I like just lose 3, and it's pretty good. Just basing that, I just start this, but just think it's dedication.
Have you
It
thought
is
about?
really hard.
Oh,
I have to
sorry.
sacrifice my sleep. It's a lot, but it is hard.
Have you thought of looking into Paul Scolardi?
So
he's swing trades.
Swing trading, yeah.
Actually, I'm subscribed to his funny thing. My boyfriend went to school with him, so they boys. So
cool.
Yeah, so he's Italian too. So actually, I got his access, just because he's his friend. So actually, I've been doing a little bit of swing trading too, and that built my account, But I just want something like day trading, too. Yeah. So it's like the perfect combination, like swing trading, day trading.
Yep, that's kind of what I do too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to balance everything. But yeah, he's really good. Actually, I love his classes, and yes.
Yeah. Paul's awesome. I took his whole course as well.
Yeah, he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I also sometimes, when I know I can only trade at the very end of the day, like 3 to 4, I try to keep track, like on my phone, of what's happening with the stocks that I had on watch that morning. Mm-hmm. So I'll just pull them up on my TD Ameritrade platform, on Thinkorswim, on my phone, on the app, and just kind of watch, okay, what is it doing? Is it even something that I want to look at the end of the day, so that, when my baby's napping and I can get back to my computer, then I have an idea of what's going on.
I think maybe on the Discord chat, we should have like a little watch list tab where whenever you're free, whenever you want, you can post the watch list, and then people that are looking to swing trade or that can only trade power hour know the tickers that are running on the day. I think that would make it a lot easier.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to start the Discord group, because it has these like text channels where we can, for example, not only with trade but also with motivation, because I think that's something important. Like, have motivation to like wake up and say like, I'm gonna trade, I'm not gonna trade. Like, I think it needs a lot of motivation, so it's good to have like little maybe tests for each one of ours, for all of us, and we are able to read it. And we have education channel too, where we send videos, we send I don't know, documents, or scan. I don't know what scanners to use, for example, so maybe we can send scanners and things like that. I think that can work for all of us.
Actually, I have a question about that scanners. Yes, I just was looking at one of the webinars, and they were saying that I don't know if somebody is short over here or everyone go long, but when you short a stock, like what kind of flow you guys looking for? Like more than 10,000? I don't know, 10 million,
when you're looking short?
Yes, like the flow, because they were saying actually Jack was saying that the flow cannot be like too low, but I don't know what he means with too low, like more, so have to be more than 10,000, like 10 million, or what flow you're looking for.
Yeah, so like from 1 to 10 would be considered low flow, and those can squeeze a lot easier, and a lot higher. It just trades a lot cleaner.
And that's with the listed stocks, right? Because OTCs, I've been looking at those. I have not seen a single OTC with just 10 million float. They have millions.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's where I've heard it mostly, is that float really matters when you're shorting listed stocks.
Yes.
I think going long or short listed requires a lot more research on the fundamentals and what you're trading. Instead, when you're trading OTCs, it has a lot more to do with the chart pattern that you're trading, because most of them behave very cleanly and give you a good risk. Instead, with the listed, they can be a lot more all over the place, and maybe you can't find the right risk, so you don't even know if you're on the right side of the trend, or if you're gonna, like, there's just a lot of traps because there's a lot of big money in NASDAQ. And in the little penny stocks, it's like, it's just us just day trading, you know? It's not like something big. You're not going against bigger people, and they behave better because there's not a lot of manipulation. Not a lot of people care about them. That's why I love penny stocks.
I was asking Mariana before, actually, on Twitter. I asked you, and the opposite of Karen, actually, I like to risk a lot. I don't know why. Seriously, I just go in a stock and I go down, and I just, for me, it's hard. Like, I get attached to too much, you know. For me, it's hard to let it go, and just, when I just see it down, it's like 1,000. I say, okay, now I have to let it go. Yeah. It's too late. Just, that's stupid, basically. Maybe. You know? I don't know what to do. Like, I know that is my plan, but I guess I know maybe it's gonna bounce, because I know that in another stores, as soon as I get out and I lost like $50, that won't bounce. And if the one that I get out, go to the toilet.
Is this when you're long or you're short?
Long. No, I didn't short yet.
Oh, okay.
So I can think of like two things. Like, one, use hard stops, and it's just robotical, because if you're just there kind of like manually trying to get out, you probably won't do it, because like you said, your brain is right now is accustomed to maybe not taking the loss. But if you do it robotically, you just don't have a choice. You got to take it and move on to the next one. Just know that there are so many tickers out there to trade. You don't have to marry one, because there's a lot. So don't worry if you take a loss, because you're going to keep looking for your next trade. So take a small loss, reevaluate, reset if you need to take a break, if you need to do whatever you need in order for you not to get attached to these. And then maybe, like, my next one is put a sticky note next to it reminding you that what you're trading is something that you want to invest in, because if it's going down and it's choppy and it's with not a lot of volume, odds are it's going to keep going down until you have to take it. So maybe write yourself a little note saying, like, the market doesn't deserve my hard-earned money, you know, because it will always take it. The market doesn't care.
Nope. Ariana, when do you determine that you're cutting the loss? Like, when does that, do you look for a certain percentage, or do you just watch the chart? Like, when do you decide, okay, that's it?
Mostly has to do with the setup that I'm trading. If I'm trading a panic dip buy, I will exit if it makes a new low. There is no questions asked. If it makes a new low, I want to get out, because I know they don't have to bounce. If it is a breakout, I will find some sort of maybe low day, or whenever you're buying over a certain channel, then you wanna risk the low of that. And if you're shorting, you want to risk the high, but always know the exact amount that you're risking, and also where you want to cut. Because maybe sometimes you will get into a trade and maybe you think that you're using 100,000 shares, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, I used too much size, my wrist should be here, I'm risking too much. So always calculate it and have your plan before you're in it.
Do you have a max loss for the day, or because there's some traders that'll lose like small account $60 for the day and they're done, or like how do you manage that?
Honestly, I'm still getting like accustomed to that. In February, I didn't take a lot of losses, so I didn't really set a specific amount. I guess that could have saved me from the big loss that I took on IMTC, but I like to feel more than I like to have like but I think for a beginner trader, you should have a certain amount, which for me was 500 when I started getting profitable. It was 500. If I was down 500, I would stop, or if you're down 150, just whatever you're comfortable with losing. And now it's more about how I feel and what I'm trading, because maybe a panic doesn't give me the right entry and I'm looking for lower, then I will keep trading it until I get it right, because I know that it's most likely going to give me the exit that I need. Other than that, I don't have a hard stop, but I did in the beginning because I knew that it was crucial.
That makes sense. Also, on your Be the Story podcast that was released today, you talked about really reviewing every single trade so you could figure out where you were going wrong. What can you give an example of how you did that? Because you hear about a lot of people trying to review their trades, but maybe they're reviewing it wrong. How did you go about that so that way maybe people can fix their review habits?
So the first time I was just doing it, I was just writing down the P&L it would show on my Thinkorswim, because it shows it, but it doesn't include commissions. So what I did was I went into the statement for the 3 months, and like I went into the TD Ameritrade website. Like I did everything very formal instead of just relying on what it was said on Thinkorswim, and then I went through each one of the statements and just figured it out, because you can if you just go into like the formal website and just look through every single one of the trades.
Did you relook at charts and say, oh, I should have entered here, here's the support, or I should have exited here? Is that how you improved?
The way I improved is using trading less, because all of the losses weren't even about the losses that I took. It was on the commissions that I lost. So what I did was I took all of the scratch trades out and only traded the ones that I really wanted to trade. So I really sized down on the amount of trades that I was taking so that I wouldn't get eaten in commission. That's what I did differently.
And what would you say that, because there's tons of people who are putting in hours watching those video lessons, and then they have this screen time, and it's a lot of front-loaded material where you have to just learn all of this stuff, and then after time you start to recognize it. But what would you say that you did differently than 90% of the other traders that are studying in the challenge? What made your process different? I don't know quite how to word it, but there must have been something you do differently, studying, practicing, something that a majority of traders aren't doing in the challenge.
I guess I would say, I don't know, I think everybody has a very different process in order to learn, and everything is based on your own circumstances. For me, my circumstances were treated as college, so I fully submerged into what I was doing. Like, just find, like, who was the one that was saying, okay, maybe she left, or Shirley, I think, just find the time that you can, the most time that you can, you know, like, if you don't have that much time, it's fine, but don't treat it as your hobby. Just fully like brainwash and think of it as your career. No matter how many hours you're trading it as, don't treat it as a hobby. Even if you're not trading that much, you can only swing trade, it's still a job. You know, and I think 90% of traders think of it as a hobby, think of it as a get rich quick. And I think the 10% that we see, all of them treat it as a career, as a job, as something that they do professionally, not something that you just put in your money and expect to get the best results.
That makes a lot of sense, because I've noticed that with all of Tim's top students is trading is life. And we put in so much work, and you guys just literally everything. You have all the charts, hours of charts, you got the spreadsheets, and just everything. And then you'll see a lot of other traders, they'll be like, oh, I'm dedicated, but here I'm on a skiing trip or whatever with my friends. I'm out doing this, that, and the other. And then you have the other, like the dedicated students who are just, they're putting in the work. And like the blog post that I wrote, there's no way of getting around it. There are no real cheat codes other than your entire life is trading. And you can have more of a break after you've made the millions, after you have the process down, it seems like.
Yeah, and just trying the best you can to watch the most that you can, because for me, passion was built. I built the passion because in the beginning I didn't really even like trading. And that's when all of the time that I spent, that is how I created the passion to do anything. Like whatever you do, you create it and you make it better, and that takes time.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. What are your guys' study routines? Because I know Mariana, she doesn't have kids. Unfortunately, this is her job. And so she's able, she's able to put in all this work that we all want to, but then the rest of us, we either have kids or we have a job, and so we fit in as much time as we can. But how are you guys doing that?
I've been squeezing every minute that I can in. I have 3 children, and they're 15, 14, and 12. And even, whenever I try to learn something, and at one point I was working 3 jobs. I took on this extra full-time job just to increase my trading account because I saw the potential in trading. And I literally, when I wake up, I have a video, a YouTube playing from the moment I wake up. After I say my prayers, I get up, I go shower, I've got it playing. When I get out of the shower, I'm literally watching it on the bathroom counter. When I'm done with that, if I have to drive, a child to school, it's usually a 15 to 20 minute drive. I am literally like Roland Wolf. I have my phone on my dashboard playing a video, and I am either listening or watching a video in my car for the 20-minute ride one way, 20-minute ride the other way. If I'm going to the grocery store, I have it in my ear, playing on my phone when I'm walking from the car to the store, walking all around the store, and I get whatever I can in, because I literally, when I get home and my kids have all these demands of me, I have it playing when I'm doing the dishes. I have it playing when I'm cooking. It's just wherever I can squeeze it in, I squeeze it in. I fall asleep to it. And it's wherever I can squeeze it in is where I can squeeze it in. And sometimes I don't get it all, but the second or third time that I hear it or I watch it, something will click that I've either heard before, and it's matching up to whatever I'm seeing, and then it sinks in a little bit better.
Yeah. I agree. Sometimes you just have to watch the same DVD every day for several days, and then finally one day, like, oh my goodness, I finally
That's
understand.
That's what right?
I watched this in the market, like I get it now, finally. But before that, you feel like, why? Like I can't do this. I can't get it, you know, like took me forever with the bid and the ask when I first started, but like I had to keep reading chapter 1 every single day to like finally like memorize it.
Yeah.
Agree. You know, and oftentimes when you're driving, if you guys have older children and they have their own devices, they're not talking to me anyway. So I might as well have something playing in my ear that I can watch. And sometimes they'll say something, they'll make a comment to me, but I've got something playing and they can't hear what I'm listening to. But I'm like, yep. Oh, okay. And I'm literally just watching a video. And I'm kind of there, but they're not really talking to me. They're not really asking me questions. They're commenting on whatever it is they're watching on their device. So I steal that time back.
Yeah, you got to capitalize.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that falls asleep to Tim's voice yelling in my ear.
You're not.
It's harder sometimes when he makes you laugh, right? But we have a very dedicated women here, and I just, I'm looking up to every single one. One thing I did to improve, and I decided when I want to dedicate myself to studying, I literally moved from West Coast to East Coast because of the time difference this month.
Wow.
And the only reason why I moved was trading, because I had to wake up at 3 a.m. I have a full-time job and I work 8 to 4, 8 to 5. And it's, engineering, it's really exhaustive. It's a lot of thinking. So I have to get the studying done in the morning because at the end of the day after work, I'm exhausted. So I usually start a day later. So I do only morning trading or at the end of the day trading. I don't have a time during the day when I work. I try to keep a watch on it, but it's really challenging. So that was the one thing I did that I, to dedicate myself for trading, to move from East Coast to West Coast for a couple months.
Did you have family here on the East Coast?
So I am kind of a loner here in the States. So I moved from Europe, originally from east part of Europe. Since this is gonna go, public, this video, I'm not gonna share so much about me, but I can message you in the messages if you guys are curious a little more about me. But so I am here on my own in the United States, but my job allows me to travel. So I work from home. So they told me that I can work for anywhere practically in the United States. So I was like, okay, I need a better schedule. I'm moving to the East Coast.
That's amazing that you moved
That's awesome.
over here and then you moved over there. My goodness. Kudos to you just for that even.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but let me tell you one thing, and what helped me actually in my engineering journey was the women's support, because as you guys know, engineering is also math and science. It's really male-dominated field. Mm-hmm. And I was always underestimated. I was always, that girl that nobody wanted in a group. And even though I, finished and graduated on the top of my class. But every single time I took a class and I met new people, they would underestimate me. And we see this hate, on a Twitter and everything. You say something and they go like, sure, you're just like supporter of, Tim, you're just doing this for money and this and that. Mm-hmm. It's like, this powers me up even more. And, having this support in STEM, in engineering, we had like a little group of women. It was called Women in Engineering. And that was the best thing that we could do. Because we, advised, we had these sessions, we would talk and we leveled up and we ended up being even better than some guys. I mean, not the best, but having this support group could help us all, to get to where we want to be.
They're just intimidated.
Yeah.
By you.
Have we been on here for 2 hours?
Hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to get a feel of how many ladies were going to be on, because I had figured if it got over 15 that I was going to extend it out to 2 hours. but we didn't hit that mark. So I figured the hour and a half would have been okay, but we're all having such a great chat, and I don't want to see this just turn off. So just so everybody has a heads up, the Zoom meeting was actually set for an hour and a half, according to the invitation. I'm not very tech savvy, so I'm trying to learn about all of this stuff, and I just don't know if like right now or in the next few seconds it's going to shut off on us.
So just in case that happens, here's the heads up. But
yeah.
I think you have 15 minutes after you like, if you set up for 1 hour and a half, you have 15 minutes more to like go through, and then just they're gonna send you like a link that say your meeting is about to end. But we have 15 minutes more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you.
I don't know if this also, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm sorry I came late. I was playing pickleball, to be quite honest. But I wanted to ask, I don't know if this is already a question that was asked, but how are you guys doing with like this new market environment, and like what patterns? Because I know there's always like something exciting maybe happening with a biggest percent loser, or there's some bullish pennants and bullish like flags that are still working, but what patterns have you guys been noticing or having success with the slower market environment?
Mariana, you've been trading the most.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've been learning the Mariana technique just because my dip buys are not working. And Mariana, whenever you post anything in the chat, like I write everything down and try to learn from it. And so the first day after multiple red days is something that you had mentioned, and is something that I ended up watching and paper trade it first, and then on the next one, I saw you go into it, and then it ended up working, and it was kind of like speculation. And I'm starting to learn how to be more patient with those plays on the way, and always like recognizing like where the red to green mark is. And most of the times it actually has been working. So I just take my smaller singles and try to make like my bare minimum of the day. And that happened with RGBP today. And, I was holding the stock for about 15 minutes, like 2 hours into the day, only making my first trade. And I was like seeing profits. So I just take the money out, but then it went all the way up to 8, So that really could have worked had I been more patient with, but it's good to kind of recognize it and then take snapshots of it.
So to answer Emily's question, and also adding on to Kira, that's what I've been trading the most for screen days. INND, AIT, ENCC is one that I'll be watching also in the coming days, because maybe it just pulls off an INND kind of scenario. And RGBP, I will be looking for a panic dip by tomorrow. Hopefully it panics, but all the panics have been rather choppy, so just making sure to take the singles, use smaller size, and cut losers quickly in this market, because this is a very different market. So making sure you can shift your whole process into smaller little things. Like here was your process, and here's like the April. Just very, very small and singles and cutting losers, but it's been mostly for screen days for me.
Yeah. So I was for your first screen days, I was setting a pattern called mean reversion. I don't even know. It kind of resembles first screen day, but I'm basically looking for support from like a prior 52-week high, like where there's support on the chart. And the way that I'm playing first screen day is like with ENZC, I was, I don't know if the move was on Friday, but it went up like 70% on Friday. And I was in on Thursday, because I was like, okay, this is where I think it might be bottoming out. I know I might be trying to predict a move. So I'm like, okay, it's kind of bottoming out. This is where there's support right here, and right here. Like I know it's going to bounce off one of these levels. So I'm trying to just find the bottoming of support and like almost anticipate the first screen day. But with you looking at first screen days, like what do you normally look for? Because sometimes I'm like, I hear people do first screen days that are looking for actually that the stock being, or the ticker being green on the day, or higher volume than usual. But what do you look for a first screen day? I know that Tim has like so many videos on this, but just you specifically in this market environment.
Yeah, no, it's been exactly what you said. Just looking at where it's supporting, where it seems to be holding, how the market is doing, look at the market environment, and if it ran with other tickers, what is the next one? Because the NCC ran with OTCs, with AITX, with ASTI. Just keep in track. Everything that runs together will most likely follow each other. So keeping track of everything that's going on, the volume that is trading, does it have news? That's something that I look at. And all of these, they're just at the lows, but let's say FTXT, not good volume there. That was one that I thought today would be the day since they had news, but there's just no volume. It's just very choppy. I'm sure it will have a bounce, but honestly for me, it's just going to get to a point where it's just an emotional kind of trade because it's just so choppy that, yeah, you will be able to get the trade, but it's just going to take away all the losses that you took on the way down.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was watching OCSC as well because it normally runs with the NCC. I know on Friday it was kind of like at a point where people thought it might go. And then I was watching it today again and it ended up dropping from, I think, 90, another 10% down to 80.
Can I say hi?
Oh, yeah.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Look it. Oh my God. Tessa, Mariana, Melissa, Shirley. Wow. You guys are rocking it. I'm going to let you guys want to say hi.
Lonely. He sees all of you guys in the chat too. We're under like the Trip and Emily, but
yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen that, and then you guys can like tag M.
I know. Yeah, I'm glad we can share an account as a couple, but it's really funny. But yeah, and with this market environment, if you're trying to play first screen days, like I'm in another chat room and we'll try and find support. But in the past month, like nothing is bouncing off of levels that I thought they always are going lower. So that's something I try and watch. And now I'm like back holding a few first screen days. I'm like, okay, well now I'm anticipating a move and trying to predict versus like actually looking at the price action. So
yeah, so what I've actually been doing, I've also been doing the same thing that you've been doing, and it's like anticipating a breakout, but it's anticipating a first screen day. I did that with AITX and ENCC, but just like the smallest size that you can even like think of, and suddenly you get a gap up and now you're in a better way to be able to size up. But I think for a small account, it would be just waiting for confirmation on the first screen day. I think that's probably the easiest way to go about it. Is maybe it doesn't bounce right off support, but if it's down maybe 4, 5 red days, and maybe it's still not at the support you want it to be, but it's showing that it's not panicking, it's showing that it's consolidating, it's getting in volume, it's creating triggers, channels, then you might want to be able to try it and not maybe get stuck in like, oh, I should have tried it. It's just one thing out of the things that weren't checked off. So still try it, just have, I guess, a smaller risk. Just play with risk, play with sizing. If it's not right at the spot, use less size, but you can still try for a single.
Yeah, totally.
You don't keep it overnight, right?
Sometimes, but I haven't been keeping a lot of things overnight.
Do you anticipate the first screen day and buy it the day before, or do you buy the day off?
I will. Well, for me and the technique that I've been using, and for beginner traders, I really think that if you're under PDT, you should just take one trade that you know that it's confirmed the first screen day. For me, I've been taking a little size overnight, and maybe if it's been consolidating like the whole day and it's just kept a solid base, and you see that it's the only day that it hasn't panicked 20-30%, then odds are maybe it goes green, and then add the size that you want the next day when it's confirmed. That's what I've been doing.
So for like a second, you're talking about like the second free day, adding more size to it?
No, that will be the confirmed first screen day.
Okay.
You get in like before, then you can average, and your average will still be lower, which is helpful.
Okay.
And then one more question. So when I'm always, instead of looking at top percent gainers these days, I'm looking at top percent losers. And I know that's kind of happening instead of panics, it'll literally panic and then bear flag. But sometimes there's a double bottom or there's a low and then a higher low. And I was wondering if you've been playing any patterns and if you're looking for a double bottom and then buying the higher low, or if you're ever just looking for like the bottom then buying the higher low for that, or like if there's any more significant reversal trends you've been noticing for those like large panics that happen, or the top percent losers.
So I'm going to say for RGBP today was a good example on that panic 206. I knew that Sykes was long, and there were also probably a lot of people that were long, so it was crowded, but I thought when he got out, it would create a cleaner panic, which it did. It was 3 straight red candles, biggest volume it had so far, biggest volume candle it had so far, and I was looking for that reversal. So what I did was I took maybe a third of the size, and then when it confirmed the double bottom, I added, risking the low, which would be 06, okay. And then I sold some on the way up because I thought maybe the selling would have stopped. There's a lot of other tickers that just keep downtrending, so you just cut, but no, you have to cut.
And risking that low, that's been really helpful. And it's cool that you're adding when it confirms the double bottom, because I'll get like 1/3 of my size and then it'll bounce a little bit and then start heading back down, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to cut at where I just added at the bottom of the panic. But if it confirms a double bottom, I'm always like a little hesitant to add after that. So it's cool to hear. And one piece of advice I got from you from my last webinar is like, if it doesn't show me that I'm correct immediately, I just get out and re-enter. And that's been really helpful too, because I'm less apprehensive to take the trade, because I'm like, if it's wrong, I can just get out and then get a better position size. So
yeah, you get a better average and wipe out your loss and come out of the game.
Totally.
Instead of being stuck with a very ugly loss, and you're like, wow, I really need to break even.
Yeah, exactly. And then you start adding more and more, waiting for you to even just like break even, where you could have just been profitable if you waited for the bottom. So cool.
All right, so
all right, ladies, I gotta go put kiddos to bed. So thank you, everybody.
Yes, it was good meeting you, Karen.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, I do too. Sorry, I'm a massive introvert, so I'll listen most times.
No worries. It was great having you, Emily.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You
too. Nice meeting you.
Thanks, bye.
Are we extending the time, or what was your question,
so I don't know how to push the time frame out, and I haven't gotten any kind of a warning or anything yet, so that's why I was saying either like we can kind of cut it, stop now, and I'll just quick restart with a new invite on the chat thing, or we can kind of go for the next few minutes and just wrap it up now.
Do you know if you have a private or enterprise Zoom?
Do I have what?
Like private Zoom, like a private account or enterprise account?
I have the professional one.
Then you have unlimited.
Oh.
Professional, because that's I know when you have a private one, like private account, then you have a limited. Then I should have a limited.
Okay.
I think it might be good though to kind of wrap it up. That way it gives your YouTube followers, Tessa, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll look forward to each time.
Yeah, a little. This is lots of good stuff. Maybe a little. Leave it where it is, little cliffhanger, and then in another couple of weeks we kind of.
Well, is there anything that anyone wants to add? Any words of advice, plans that they're going forward with for the rest of the week? Just anything?
Well, maybe I would like to ask all of you if you have like some kind of stocks that you are looking to watch tomorrow, or if some of you are swimming something, or maybe we can talk that through Discord, or
So
to finish to look at some stocks, and maybe we all have an idea for tomorrow, what to hope, what to see. Something sound, right? Like,
Yeah, I did hear that.
So what I'll be doing tomorrow is main watch RGBP. I will also be taking a pretty long break where I won't have any Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, that will be really tough for my trading addiction. But
Hawaii?
No, that was canceled. Unfortunately, some family problems came up, so I couldn't attend that. I know, I was so excited, but so I'll be off CAT for like 2 weeks, but then I will come back. So my A+ setup, RGBP, that is literally all I'm watching for tomorrow to end it on a good note.
Yeah, that's me too. Honestly, that was my number one today.
I'm watching OZSC for first screen day. It's been down several red days. It's bottoming at like 80 right now, which is a whole number. So it might go down even more, but I think that's definitely due for first screen day soon. Maybe.
I see it, yeah.
Yeah. And then another one I was watching was, I don't know if you guys saw today, but TIRX.
Yes, I seen that one.
Oh my gosh. So everyone was talking about in the chat. I have the chart up right now, but it went from 95 to 1250.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's a degenerate trade, but I was like, hey, the volume candles are getting smaller. This is the biggest green candle it had. And I was like, I'm just going to go for it and take a little bit. It was like 85% down. I'm like, okay, like, where is it going to go? It could go lower, but then I would just cut. But I got in at 13 average. And at the end of the day, I ended up selling most of it for at 17. I got up to 23. So that was pretty cool. But it's
very nice trade.
Yeah, it was so good. I was like,
you thought about it, you gave it time, you waited for confirmation. Not degenerate if you have a plan.
Okay, it ended up halting up right after I got in it, and I was stoked. But for tomorrow, I don't know if it's gonna double bottom at where it bottomed today at like 12:30. But that's a stock that's down, and I think it was a pump and dump, so I'd be really aware of that. But I think there can be bounces with pump and dumps sometimes. So I'll be watching that tomorrow for potentially another trade if it goes down or breaks that low for today. But
which stock, excuse me?
What was that?
Which stock?
It's TIRX.
Okay.
But I would wait for it a long time. I don't know what it's gonna do. It's very, I think the float's pretty low, and it moves very quickly. So, but yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna take this 85% down. So.
Yeah, that was a good one today. Nice job.
All right. With the size of this, an hour and a half. Do I dare even try posting it tonight? I might post it over the weekend. With my internet, it's gonna take probably like 2 days to load. So I don't want to compromise my trading in the morning. I learned from last time.
It's like backup status.
Yes. So I'll work on it this weekend, having it uploaded.
I probably won't be able to watch it, but I'll see it when I can.
Well, and you were here, so that'll work. But all right, so
awesome.
You guys can still stay on, but if you want to say goodbye, because I'm about to stop this. So thanks for watching, everyone.
It was great to see you all.